We had a lovely day with our family yesterday. It was a lovely sunny day. Today it's gone a little bit cooler, but we've come down to Bendinat. So we're at the Bendinat roundabout. We've just come through the tunnel and we're just going to have a little walk around Bendinat. This is Bendinat Plaza, a little block of offices and shops and restaurants. One that we used to go to many years ago, Di Benedito's, is now been closed for a long time and never been taken over. On the opposite side there's another complex where there's an Eroski supermarket, and that area is referred to as New Bendinat. So when we first came to the island it didn't actually exist, so that's been built up. There we are, we've got the sign which says Bendinat, and we're going to walk down. Eventually we're going to walk down past parts of the golf course, for which Bendinat is quite well known. So we need to cross the road here. Just down from the roundabout we have the Lindner Hotel, which has its SOS Turismo banner outside. Gates open, so we'll just have a little walk up to the hotel to see if there's any action. Some cars parked here, so maybe they're open. We have many memories of the Linden Hotel. Anita has in the past brought the choir from her school here to sing, and we attended a wedding here, a wedding of our friends Robert and Maria. Robert Windsor, who organised the charity golf competitions that I was involved with years ago. Sadly he's no longer with us, but we've had a number of events here to do with the charity golf. Very nice hotel, and lots of cars here. So Linden Hotel is another one that's open for business in the area. We are in the Calvia area, just about. We're on the eastern edge as you go towards Palma. But it's very much a golf hotel. It's this hotel is nestled in the area of the golf Bendinat. Originally it was referred to as the Golf Hotel, but they had to change the name.
Mallorca. That's so nice.
So this is the Linden Hotel, and there's a lot of action going on here. Lots of cars coming up, taxis coming up, people going out. So it looks as though it's quite busy here. It sounds as though the tourists that are here are German, which is probably what we'd be expecting, since British people can't come. But it is a beautiful hotel. It has beautiful swimming pool, beautiful grounds, and difficult to tell here, but just there is actually the golf course. So this is right in the middle of the golf course. So if you're a golfer, this is one of the hotels to look at, right next to the Bendinat golf course, the Linden Hotel. So I'm just leaving the Linden Hotel now. We're going to head down here towards the Bendinat school. This is the school for the older children here in Bendinat. Public school. Now it's quite a large school here. On my school day would be lots of children, obviously. And this road just to the side of it actually goes up to the military area. That goes down to Hilietas. We're not going to go all the way up there, but we will turn off. And just to the left, over this wall, there is actually a theatre, which is part of the school but run by Calvia Council, and in the past Anita's had concerts there as well. Just above the theatre area there is the municipal swimming pool. I've never actually been to it. And just at the top of this road is where the military gates are, so not really a place for us to pass. On to the left we've got a little park area we can walk through. We're actually going to go to the right though, and as we do so we're going to run parallel to a road that goes off to the sewage treatment works. Not somewhere that's going to be on your holiday list, but it is a place that both Anita and I have visited with school groups in the past to see how sewage is treated here in Mallorca. It really is quite an interesting place. But this is another one of the walkways that Calvia built. Don't think they're used too much, this one. It's really pleasant out in the country. You can hear the birds sing, and we actually walk through or walk past the golf course. Saying not many people come down here, but we do get the graffiti artists, and this is not very nice graffiti. Authorities need to come and just clean those walls up. And all along here, this is the wall that goes to the sewage work. It looks like they've got sewage spread all over the walls as well. So here is where all the water comes in from the local community. A little bit smelly, but not very much. And when it comes in here, it all gets filtered and cleaned. And by the time the water leaves, it's an absolutely colourless, clear water. Looks fit to drink. Don't think I would, but it does look fit to drink. When you do the tour, they bring a flask out and fill the water into the flask, and it does look perfectly clear. If you want to know more about water treatment, you have to come along to one of my lessons. Normally on the tourist map, this. Just through the fence now, you can start to see the parts of the golf course. Someone driving off down there. As far as I know, golf courses have been pretty open all the way through this pandemic, or closed at the beginning of course, but it's fresh air, it's exercise, and quite easy to keep socially distanced, so can't see any reason why you would close a golf course. Perhaps the 19th hole. We've gone up a little bit, now we're going down, and we're going to be entering what we call is Old Bendinat. I showed you New Bendinat at the beginning, which is relatively new. We're now going down towards Old Bendinat. If we'd driven here, we'd have probably come up this road. This comes up from the road that takes you to Portals Nous, and on a normal occasion we'd actually drive down this road here, but we're going to walk up a little bit, so we're going to show a bit more of Bendinat, and we eventually get to the Hotel Bendinat. So we're just going to walk up to the top of this road. We're not going to do the whole of Bendinat, Old Bendinat. It's mainly private homes, so it's not really somewhere that I'm going to walk through. And the homes actually have got, some of them have got fantastic sea views, but that means that we don't have fantastic sea views because they're in the way. There's an interesting little path here. It looks well trodden, probably by the dog walkers, but it's not really a place that we've ever been, so not sure where that goes. But here we go down now into Old Bendinat, and a lot of the properties here are very mature, but very nice, very exclusive residential area. When we moved to Mallorca 35 plus years ago, the first place we lived was in San Agustin. The school we went to had an apartment there, and we stayed there for a short time, but we then found a property in Bendinat. So this is like the first place we actually lived in, was in Bendinat, and we stayed there for about 3 years, I guess. I seem to remember Lara celebrating her 3rd birthday, so we were still there then. She had a little bicycle for a birthday, and I can remember her riding up and down our terrace on a bicycle. Nice grand entrances. I call this Old Bendinat, but clearly they are building new properties here. That's the sort of property you find here in Bendinat. Beautiful infinity pool attached to it. I must say it's been a while since we've walked around this area. Don't actually walk around it very often, so driven around this area, so we're actually seeing some things here which we wouldn't have seen. And here's yet another new build property which actually is going to have some great views, because we can see right the way through over the sea towards Palmanova, just high enough to go over the properties on the other side. This road that goes off to the left where the cars are coming from now does actually give us a circular route, but it's very much a residential area, so we won't go down there. But it does just go round in a circle and comes out to the bottom of this road, which is where we will go, and we'll go and investigate the Hotel Bendinat, which is just at the bottom of this road. Another view of the new build property that's going up there. And from the upper floor, they're going to have some marvellous views over the top of the houses on this side. You wonder whether they're going to have that as an upside down house with the living quarters on the top floor. Say we used to live in this area. We did eventually have to move. The house we lived in was up 75 steps, and we already had Lara as a youngster, but Anita became pregnant, and 75 steps became just that little bit too much. a central part to our life, though, particularly for our two younger children, Adam and Serena. They came to a kindergarten here in Bendinat, and it's where we met a lot of our friends who also brought their children to Isabel and Luis to their little kindergarten. Isabel and Luis have retired now, no longer live here, but this is where the kindergarten was, and it was in their villa and in their gardens, and the children had a wonderful time here and learnt such a lot from Isabel and Luis. We do see occasionally. They now live in St. Caliu, so we'll bump into them in Palma Nova sometimes when they're out for a walk. It's really nice to see them and tell them about how our children have grown up and now have their own children. The big white house that we see when we're walking on the other side of the bay at the little beach, which is down below. And we're just coming up to the Hotel Bendinat. So that circular route that I mentioned earlier, this is the road that we would have come out on. So we're actually going to walk back a little way along this so that we can show you some of the Hotel Bendinat. There are some quite amazing houses around here, and a surprising amount of new build and renovation work that's going on as well. We're just coming up on the right hand side to the Hotel Bendinat. And properties for sale as well. So just the other side of this wall is the Hotel Bendinat, and would usually be open at this time of the year, so it'll be interesting to see if it is. Again, it's one of the hotels that caters for people who like golf holidays, being so close to the Bendinat Golf Club. So this is the road that takes you down to the Hotel Bendinat, which is just here on the right hand side. Never stayed at this hotel, but we have been here for meals, and if you come in the summer, an evening meal on the terrace at Hotel Bendinat is something really special. But it looks as though it's not actually open now. It's all chained up. This is Hotel Bendinat. Just at the bottom we have a little way we can go down to the sea. And there's already people out here fishing, enjoying the magnificent views here. This is just below the Hotel Bendinat, and there's a few steps to come down, so it's a little bit tricky. And then there's these little areas here where you can put your towel or your sunbed. I think probably the hotel actually puts the sunbeds out here, and you look out onto the sea And there's lots of yachts out there, lots of little sailing dinghies, motorboats. Quite calm today. Not much wind for them, but probably they're just having sailing lessons, so it's good practice. As everywhere, the water's really clear. I must say, I've been here before, but I've forgotten how extensive it is. So it's actually a long time since we've been here. And I think maybe the last time I came I was actually in a kayak, so we'd worked our way around here with the scouts. But it is a really pretty area. There's the hotel just up above, and you can go down a few more steps here, take you down to the water's edge. We're looking over there towards Palmanova and Magaluf in the distance. The island just off Portals. Over there we're looking at the resorts of Palmanova and on into Magaluf. As we were walking up towards the Bendinat Hotel, we noticed this walkway. It's one of the things that happens when you walk, is that you see things you never saw before, and there's a walkway that goes down here and seems to have a lookout point. You see, so we're going to have a look, see what's down here. Looks like someone has beaten us to it. So that little walkway, which we've never actually seen before, brings us out to this splendid view, and a walkway that's looking out onto the little bay that goes to the Portals, the little Portals beach, which I sometimes refer to as the Bendinat beach, but strictly speaking it's actually the Portals Nous beach, because it was there before the big beach, which is next to the marina. Suddenly got a few waves that have washed up. I don't know where they've suddenly come from. It's been very calm up until now. And then on the other side here we've got this big white house, which we quite often look at from the other side of the bay. So we're going to make our way down to that little beach, and then we're going to do the walkway, which is actually on the opposite side where we're looking now. Just below that apartment block there is a walkway, and that gives us a splendid view over this side. So we'll go back up the little walkway that we've now discovered, and we'll walk down to the beach. We see lots of really poor quality graffiti. Occasionally we come across something that actually looks quite nice, and something I quite like. So we're going to carry on walking around here, and we're going to go down to the little beach in Bendinat, Portals Nous, and then we'll go up into the village of Portals Nous. For many years our friends Stan and Jeanette used to live here, now sold up and moved away. If you fancy coming back, Stan, top floor is for rent. detached homes. That one will have a magnificent view over the bay there. Alright, so we just turn down here and head down towards the small beach here, which is where we spent a lot of our early time in Mallorca, because that's where we lived, about 50 metres from this small beach that we're going to get to in a few moments. So we just come round the corner here, and this is where the small beach is. We spent so much time with the children many, many years ago. Since then it has actually changed quite a lot. All of this has been pedestrianised and extended. The winch system's still there, that's been there for a very long time. This was our little beach, and a great place to go snorkeling. In fact, if you look back in some of our YouTube videos, there's one of us on this beach and going snorkeling. The hotel in front lay derelict for many, many years. Before that it was a hotel, and there used to be a little cafe at the bottom we used to go to. Now it has been completely renovated. It's a very smart hotel with a very smart terrace, and a nice place. We come occasionally for a coffee or a beer. So we used to live here. We used to live just up this road, just only about 50 metres, 100 metres up there. But the house we lived in was up on that hill. Splendid house, but 75 steps was a little bit too much for us. That's our little beach in Portals. So all of this is where the cafe used to be. All of that's been knocked down, and a nice terrace has been put in its place. And the entrance to the hotel has been completely changed. And there used to be a little bar down here as well. That's gone a long time ago. We now got these steps, and they will take us onto that walkway which I mentioned earlier on in the video. This is a walkway we've been coming on a long time, and it is a bit rickety, and it does warn you that in some areas there is some danger. This part looks to be open. It does need a little bit of maintenance, but it does overlook this bay with the crystal clear waters where we'd go swimming, snorkeling, climb across the rocks over on the other side and jump into the water. The sun's coming out now. And the temperature's rising. Just had to stop for a photo. Anita likes to take lots of photos. I do lots of videos. She does lots of photos. Sends them to our friends and family. So it is a lovely path, but as you can see, it just needs a little bit of TLC, needs tidying up. It's been like this for a long time, so not sure it's very high on the priority list of Calvia County Council. Few steps down there so you can get to the rocks, get to the water. Some trees that have fallen down. I've got a few steps to go up to, and this particular part has undergone some reparation since we were last here. There is a fence, so it is reasonably safe, assuming the fence is in good standing. really is a pleasant walk, even if it is a bit tricky in parts.
And that's part of its charm.
You come out to a spot like this. There's the White House we spoke about. Across there is a little viewing point where we were standing just a few short minutes ago. While we were there, Anita booked a table for lunch, so we're heading off up towards Portals now, and we have lunch booked for 1:30 at the ship. I'm just looking at the prickly pears here, which are very dark in colour. Usually start off green. These look as though they've ripened and shrunk, I think. Getting a bit steeper here. As we come out of the path, we enter this elevated flat area, which is a lovely viewing point for what is now the main beach in Portals. So when we first came to the island, that's what the beach used to look like, really. In fact, there was no sand at all. There is at least some sand down there, but there was no sand. It was just pebbles and stones all the way along, maybe 2 or 3 meters wide. And I can actually remember walking along there with a pushchair when we first came. There was no sand on this beach, and then they pumped the sand onto the beach. They created a big wide beach, so even at this side there was a wide sandy beach, but the way the currents have moved the water, all of the sand has been pushed over to the marina end, and there's still virtually nothing at this end. So the beach is now open for business. Sunbeds, sunshades, the parasols are out. The water is perfectly clean, and the beach bar down below is being reconstructed. So a few people sitting out there enjoying a drink right by the side of the sea. We've got 1 or 2 boats out. I'm sure you'll find, if you look in our YouTube channel, some videos of us on this beach, probably last year, and we would normally swim to the island. It isn't very deep, the water, so for much of it you can actually touch the bottom. There's a few places where it does get a little bit deeper, and then you get to the island where you can get out. It's a bit rocky, but the water's so clear that for snorkeling it's really quite good around that area, if you don't mind the seaweed.
Now you can dodge the seaweed. I'm looking.
Might be able to dodge some of the seaweed. I don't think you can dodge it all. So we're going to head up again and get into the village of Portals, where we can have our lunch. On the top of the hill here we've got the church. It is Easter Sunday, so I guess they will have had a service this morning, and looks as though the door's open. We're going to be walking up past there in just a few moments. The walk up here is quite steep, so I'm going to spare you my puffing and panting as I walk up. Here we are at the little chapel, top of the hill. We, like lots of other people, are just enjoying the view over the island and over the marina of Portals. But we'll go up this way and head off towards the village. So just leaving the church behind us, we're heading towards the village with the little sports centre and King Richard School just on the right there. And we're just going to head up into the centre of the village now. Last time we walked up here, we saw people working on the secret garden, getting it all spruced up and ready. and I did mention it on the video, and one of the owners did actually comment on that video that I made. Fortunately, we can't call in today, but the secret garden in Portals is open and ready for business, and they do have a lovely garden out at the back, and they're serving lunch today in the garden. So great place to come, and we will be there as soon as we get the opportunity. We now have a rude bar restaurant, that's new in Portals. So here we are in the square. So spent many hours. Let's have a look around. Bank of Mark is now on that far corner. And Anita tells me that Chemelli's may have changed hands. It's closed up now, so it'll be very interesting to see what happens at Chemelli's. That's one of the places we used to go to a lot. So I hope if it has changed hands, the new owners won't make too many changes. But Rude Bar Restaurant looks an interesting place to come. Just next to our paper shop, we'll buy our local newspaper. Anita's just nipped in to get the newspaper. Just between the newspaper shop and Sidon, there's some steps that go down to the car park. So we usually park in there. But today we've parked up in Bendinat, so we've got a bit of a walk to get back. Square across the roads where we'd come for the San Antonio fiestas in January. Have a little bonfire and cook some sausages. Be a party time here in the village. Sponsored by the tobacconist, the newspaper shop, used to be a tobacconist, and the supermarket Sidon. The bars are doing quite well today. It's a lovely Sunday. Green bar in front of us, restaurant. Used to be Flintstones bar, that went a number of years ago, and its successor didn't actually take off, and so that's closed down. One of the sad losses is Casa Paco, a place we'd go for a menu del dia, but that's now closed. And there's the new tobacconist. We're just heading towards the ship which is in front of us. Anita's booked a table in the shade. Some of the bars and restaurants across the road here have also changed over the years. A new one is Il Tano, which we've seen in lots of different places, in Port Andrach just a few days ago, and certainly in Palmanova. Another sad loss is Delsey's is no more. Leon passed away, and so Delsey's doesn't exist. So here we are. We're at the ship. So here we are. We've made it to the ship, and Anita's got a little glass of wine and a pint of shandy. Just ordered our lunch. So Anita's having chicken
and mushroom pie.
I'm having a ship mega burger. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll see you in a moment. So Anita's just got a light lunch. Look at that for a pie. So here we are at the ship. What pie is that, Nolly?
It's chicken and mushroom.
Chicken and mushroom pie. That looks. She didn't want any chips. And I've had their mega burger, so I think I'm going to enjoy this. Oh, I just had a lovely lunch at the ship, and now we're just going to make our way back to the car, which is parked near to the Lindner Hotel where we started this video. While we were in the ship, we bumped into Javier, and it's Javier and Catherine who had the opera for many years, for 30 years. We used to go there almost ritually every Friday evening. We'd take the children there, and that's where we'd have our pizza at the opera. So we've got lots of very fond memories. Sadly, Catherine passed away, and Javier is now retired, but still living in Portals, so see him about now and again. Just like many parts in Calvia, there's this walkway, and it's a nice, safe place to walk. And it will take us all the way back to the roundabout to where we park the car. Not a great deal to see. There's one or two things I do want to point out just as we go around this bend though. In particular Avenida America, which is where we used to live, but obviously at the other end, right down by the beach. And at the top of Avenida America there's the bus stop where I used to catch the bus when we used to teach in San Agustin. But also a building there which used to be the Bar Granada, and it's been derelict for the last umpteen years, 20 years. Seems to be such a waste of a building. So that building across the road, it looks as though over the years somebody has been painting it, and but that was the Bar Granada, and you used to have a terrace, and inside was the bar. But it must be 20 years, could be more than 20 years that it's been closed up, and they can never work out why. And there's the bus stop where I used to catch the bus every morning when I used to catch the bus to school. The trees here are getting a few leaves on them now, which is really good because that means that we can walk along in the shade as temperatures start to rise. You really start to appreciate that shade when you go out for a walk. Some more new builds on the right hand side. When we first came to live here, there was no pavement on the right hand side. In fact, it was just a trench, and quite often we would be going to school in the morning and there would be a car that had drifted over to the side a little bit too much and ended up in the ditch. That's now been filled in, and there's a pavement there, and this walkway that didn't exist then. Road down below there, but we've gone a little bit higher. The walkway moves away a little bit from the road here. And just by the side of the walkway here we have this centre which is attached to the university. A little bit of a library there, a bit of a study area. A nice little place there to sit in the shade. And we'll carry on walking. Some sports facilities just above here as well. As we walk down the walkway here, to the left is where the new Bendinat, as I would refer to it as. So there's some houses, and just to my left now is a commercial area with there's a club there which you can see, Sporting Club Bendinat, and some restaurants. And you might remember at the beginning of the video we saw Eroski. In years gone by we used to come down here, and there used to be an Italian restaurant here which we thoroughly enjoyed. Sadly gone. So we haven't actually been here for quite a while, so can't tell you too much about what's here now. A sign there that says gambling hall. Well, definitely not a place you're going to catch me. I'm not a gambler. I hope you've enjoyed our video of Bendinat and Portals Nous. If you had, please share it with your friends, let everybody have a look, and don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, then please hit that subscribe button. We'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.
We've had a lovely Easter Sunday. Bye.